So a few weeks ago we rode a load of R models during our Supernakers group test, and it got us thinking, what do you tend to get from an R model? Are they worth the extra cash? Who are they for? In general, you get the same sort of stuff from R models regardless of motorcycle manufacturers, so better brakes, better tyres, maybe a bit more horsepower, a bit less weight, the usual stuff, but it's all track focused, performance focused upgrades. So we've got two brand new KTM 690 Dukes today. One's a base model, one's an R, and I think the only way we're going to find out whether that R model is worth the extra cash is to go out and ride them. But I think we also need to ride them for another reason, and that's because me, being slightly younger than you, remember, and I know the Duke as a different bike to you. To me, it's a bit of a do-everything bike. It can be a commuter, or it can be a hooligan bike. That's not how you remember the Duke, though.
No, I remember the original 94 KTM Duke, the one with the side-by-side headlights rather than the over and under ones, as being the bike that spawned the Supermoto kind of generation, really. It was at a time when I was 14 in 94, so I wasn't riding, but it was at a time when I can remember everyone being obsessed with sports bikes. Cole Fogarty was winning on Ducatis in World Superbike. Everything was about being Larry, crazy Luro leathers, just being a sports bike nut. And then suddenly you had this crazy little niche that just popped up out of nowhere with guys wearing peaked helmets on the road, goggles, motocross boots. It was all about wheelies and sticky tyres and doing skids. The mid-90s was that era where speed cameras didn't exist, insurance was a tenner and you could buy a C90 and insure it in your mum's name and then own a Fireblade and go nuts on the road. Supermotos offered something different, and the KTM was the bike that almost started and kick-started that whole scene. Back then, it was seen as quite an extreme thing. And my question about the Duke today isn't necessarily the difference between the R and the standard model. It's more, what is the KTM Duke nowadays? Is it still a supermoto? I'm not sure. Has
it still got that DNA from the original bike?
Yeah, absolutely. I hope it has.
I think the only way we're going to find this out, as you've got your questions and I've got my questions to answer, is to go riding. So here's the key for the R.
I'll get the good one.
I'll start on the base model.
Let's do it. Which one is the base model?
I don't know,
they look the same.
I think I prefer the base model.
Aren't we near Goodwood? Isn't it a bit, a bit posh around here?
I was going to say, I think we're lowering the tone a bit, especially on that orange bike. So I reckon we get away from the rocking chairs, because I've got a better idea of what we can get up to.
Right, feel better?
I think we need to get that out of our system.
Done?
Yeah,
should we do some riding?
Should we be,
some proper riding?
Should we be sensible now?
We can try.
Let's do it. Right, so we spent the day doing naughty things on those bikes.
We might have done.
We're here at another pub. You're being an absolute woman again with the weakest shandy I've ever seen in my life. And you were giving me grief earlier on about not even drinking beer. But before we talk about the bikes, I think we need to talk about what is actually new on these 2016 models. Because, I mean, they look pretty damn similar to the old bikes. So the first big change at the heart of the bike is the engine. So this is the piston from the old LC4 690. It's the same CC as before that new engine, but there's a bigger one of those now, but they've shortened the stroke.
Yep, so it's over square.
A bit like the Panigale.
A bit like the Panigale.
What it does is it lets the bike rev a bit more, well, rev a bit higher. So that thing's now got 1,000 RPM higher rev limit to it. And the first thing you might be thinking, given that it's a massive single, is it's going to vibrate like mad, but they've changed the design now, so the camshaft now acts as a second balancer shaft. So I think we both found it pretty smooth today, given as long as you're in the right gear.
Yeah.
So they've also changed some of the innards of the engine. So the base model, the white one, makes 73 horsepower, the R makes 75. And I think this is when the R starts coming into play a bit more, because that's when you start really getting some of the upgrades. So the electronics. Not everyone
Yeah.
likes them, but that's where they come in. You've got running modes.
I've never been as frustrated on a bike as I was this morning for a long time. Just not knowing how to navigate through. It looks quite easy. There's only 4 buttons. You know, you just push and pull, find your way. But I couldn't get the bike to do what I wanted it to do. And I jumped on it thinking, yes, this is a KTM Duke, it's a Supermoto. I'm going to be a little bit naughty. Didn't do anything. The bike was
Just holding you on a
absolutely
leash,
flat in my hand.
Yeah.
It was absolutely dead. It was a commuter bike wearing fancy pants. At the point where you turn all of the stuff that costs money off and you make it more like a Supermoto, that kind of cheesy DNA that we were talking about earlier suddenly comes to the fore and you realise what this bike is all about.
Which one would you go for?
I'm all in on the R. I'm not all in on the price, but I'm all in on the R with everything off. When I got my turn on the base model, the first thing I did was turn everything off. Then I had to stop 2 minutes later and take the gear lever off and the brake lever and adjust everything and get it how I wanted to have it. And it still didn't feel as good a bike. If I was at the point where I was about to slap my money down, I'd go and pay a bit more and have the R. But the question still remains, is the R worth the asking price?
Versus a bike like an MT-07, which is similar power, I think you'd be faster through a set of corners on that than you would.
I don't know.
You don't believe me?
No,
you don't think so?
I reckon an MT-07 would do a really, really good job of justifying the couple of grand price difference.
The price difference, yeah, but I think that would actually be faster.
What I'm talking about is by just keeping up with it. I think if you rode against yourself down some of those roads we've done today and you're on an MT-07, the you that's on a KTM 690 Duke R would be swearing in your helmet at having spent more money and not been able to go. Yeah.
I think the MT-07, I think you'd be behind me, and I think you'd be.
No, you think
be
you would be
up.
behind you? I wouldn't be behind you.
You'd be long behind me, eating my dust.
The quality that's in that's tucked away at the fast bit of a ride, you think is better than the quality that's tucked away at the top of an MT-07 going fast?
I think the capability of the chassis and the handling is more so on the Duke base model and especially the R than an MT-07. But
this isn't a back-to-back test, so we shouldn't get carried away with comparing it to a bike that we haven't got here, until we've got one here.
True.
But, you know, getting back to the original question, which one would you choose? What about you? Which one would you go for?
I would pick the R, and I know this is a moot point, if it was cheaper. If it cost the same as the base model. I think that this is our problem with these bikes, is that the base model is £7,699. The Duke R is £8,999, so 9 grand.
That's a lot of money.
That's mental money. That's street triple R money.
Supposed to say it, but you crashed one today. You tipped one over in a car park. Did I just let that out? Luckily, that there's no damage on that thing. But you drop a sports bike the same way that you did today, no miles an hour, just turning the thing round. That's a £1,000 crash you've just had there. A couple of levers and a few panels. The whole point of Supermotos is that they're kind of work a day, do everything, chuck them around, rage on them a little bit, and they just keep coming back for more. A £9,000 bike, I wouldn't want to treat like that because it's a £9,000 bike. You know, at what point would you say that that's £4,000 better than an MT-07?
Yeah, it's just not.
It feels a little bit. It feels like we're hating on KTM a little bit because we did this with the Super Nakeds test, and a lot of the comments were people flaming us because they've obviously invested their own money in KTMs and they don't want to look stupid. But you know, they are more expensive. They are a premium product. The question is, can you justify the spend? And if you can, great, go for it. You're going to have a lovely time on that thing.
The way we both enjoy these bikes, and the way you kind of have to if you want to get the most out of them, is really by grabbing them.
It's like they've stolen them, wasn't it?
Yeah, you have to grab them by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah.
And you're talking yanking it to wheel it up, banging it down gears to lock up the rear, throwing it into corners, and just treat it like a bit, not like shit, but like a bit kind of like shit.
Like you're on a test ride for an hour. You've got to give it back. It leads on to the last question. You guys know, but the people at home don't know, that I stole that Speed Triple R after the test that we did a couple of shows ago.
Yeah, I know that.
I get what R packages are all about, and that bike has helped me understand why they're as good as they are. I've had a Street Triple R for a year in the past. I've had other R versions of bikes in the past, but this one today, and the Speed Triple R from Triumph in particular, highlight to me just how good an R package is. It's one simple box that you tick, rather than having to kind of and ah about which bit do I choose from the accessory pack here and there. Off you go, you tick the box, they do all the hard work for you, you just put fuel in the thing and ride it away. So you an R man, are you into it? Would you go for one?
Definitely, yeah. I would opt for an R over the base model. And going on from what you were just saying, of taking confusion out of it, I think a good R package is usually tailored so that all the parts come together as well.
Maybe that's where you can justify the expense or the extra expense between the two models. If it's 1,200 quid, you might say, well, I can buy an exhaust and I can maybe fit my own rear sets for £1,000. But there's no way for 1,200 quid you could fit that caliper, that whole brake system, and all of the other upgrades collectively that bike has got. They're worth more than the sum of the R and the tick in the box. I didn't think I'd be saying it at the start of the day, and I'm not a fan of orange in general. I'd go for the R over the base model every time. I can wheelie this further than you can wheelie that.
Absolutely not.
You don't even drink beer like a man, so I can't bet you a pint.
That's got nothing to do with wheelies.
I bet you a muffin.
I did a rolling burnout in that last shot because you couldn't do one.
I bet you a bowl of quinoa that I can do a wheelie further than you.
Mate, you've never seen a bowl of quinoa in your life.
F***ing right I haven't. Chris Evans owns this gaff.
As in the Chris Evans?
Yeah.
What's he up to at the moment?
I don't know. I'm wondering if he wants to come and do a bit of presenting. I think he'd be pretty good.
You would be good at that.